Right, let me just get set up. Oh, perfect. Right, that's there. Right, we are on. Hi guys, I'm waiting for some people in the chat. For whatever reason, we haven't got anyone in chat. It's 12:47, so I might be a little bit early. Poseidon? Someone's jumped in it. Is that Poseidon? Poisden? Hi there. Anyway, I've not seen you in the chat before. Morgan, another person I've not seen in the chat before. Wow, there's a couple of people joining who I've not even seen in the chat before. We've got Peter Ray in there. Hi, Peter. Hey, we'll be popping in and out. That's fine. Don't worry. As you can see, got a lot on the board today. As you can see, Peter, you said, you know, about a pointy stick. I've got two, actually. One sec. Got this one here as well. I don't like this one as much. I mean, other people probably like this one more, actually, but I like the thin design of this one here, but you can have a little battle. You know, I just need someone else here, and then we can have a... No, don't say that, because that sounds wrong. I was going to say we can have a sword fight, but if it was another guy, that would sound wrong. So, yeah, let's not do that. So let's put that one down there, and let's just use one. Right, so, yeah, Peter says brilliant. Yeah, so, I can obviously use this to point to things on the board and stuff, so that's good. Also, I got some spray, whiteboard spray, so that then I could, you know, if things get tough to wipe off, because some of it was a little bit tough to wipe off the other day. Well, actually, on the last episode, it was tough to wipe off, but I've been using it since then, you know, for other things and stuff, just like to-do lists and all the rest of it. And it has been a bit tough to wipe off, but anyway, I will wait for a couple more people to pop in, and then we will get on with it. It is a bit annoying where this whiteboard is placed, though, because I would really like to be this side of it, which kind of works. I mean, I could just angle the webcam a little bit round here. It kind of works, but the problem is my bed is right here, and I can't go back any further, so I kind of have to, like, lean back for you to see the board. But because I'm right-handed, I seem to like it this way more. This way is a little bit... I don't know, it just feels odd, but yeah, anyway. Maybe it doesn't to others, but we've got Kirsten in the chat. Hi there, Kirsten. We've got, and then Peter says hi. Also, you might be wondering, how are you reading the chat without, like, lunging down? Well, I had a brilliant idea, and I don't know why I've not done this when I had the green screen, you know, when I was using the green screen. I can just literally put OBS on one side of the screen, and then the chat box on the other side of the screen. Like, I've got OBS on this side of the screen, and then the YouTube live chat on the other side of the screen, just like split the screen, and I can just do that. So, you know, brilliant. Lillandalf, I won't call you Landalf again, or whatever I called you the other time. Lillandalf, hello ads, or should I say Professor ads? No, I am not a professor, nor would I ever want to be a professor. I'm just an idiot with a whiteboard who's just saying some random stuff. But yeah, you know, if you want to think of me as a professor, that's up to you, but I'm really not. So yeah, if you've got any questions in the chat, then please drop them in. Obviously I can see them quite clearly now. I've got the chat up like that, so yeah, just drop them in. Without further ado, I'll get on. I'll explain a few of the things on the board, and then we'll get into it. We've just got some random stuff that I've put on the board. What I'm doing is throughout the week, I'm just putting random thoughts that I have on the board. So this can be anything, like, you know, it doesn't really matter. Like, for example, I like dinosaurs and things like that, and I like philosophy, and I like reselling, of course, and I like all these different things. So if I ever get a thought, then I'm... Oh, that's good, isn't it? If I ever get a thought like that, that's cool. Yeah, if I ever get a thought, I'm putting it on the board, and then it just gets discussed on Thursday Talks as well, whether you guys like it or not. But that's okay, we'll still do reselling stuff. It's not going to be, like, It's not going to be ads thoughts, or... Yeah, it rhymes, doesn't it? Thursday Talks, ads thoughts. Oh, I could do a section. I could do a section on Thursday Talks called ads thoughts. Anyway, so... we'll just read through a few bits of this. Also, I want 45 likes today. Can you see that up there, guys? 45 likes. By the end, not by the end of the live stream, but by this time next week on this video, I want 45 likes, because on my other one, that's currently sitting at like 44 likes or something. So by the end of the live stream, I'd like about 20 to 25 likes, if that's possible. So if you haven't already, give it a big like down below, or you can just wait to see what unfolds on the video before you like it. But obviously, yeah, 20 to 25 likes would be brilliant. That's the like sort of soft target, and the hard target is 45 likes. Also, got to make sure to say I love you to everyone. Make sure you're saying I love you to people often because it's nice. So I'll put that there on like, when was that? Bloody Monday or something, I don't know, Sunday or Monday. Thought that's nice to put up there. So yeah, I love you. There's also a little Easter egg up here. Silence is golden. So if you want me to shut up, then please do say silence is golden in the chat. And again, I can see the chat now, so it should be okay. Just make sure, just making sure as well, is the audio okay? I have got my mic in like a different position than when I had the green screen. So I am a bit wary of the fact the audio might not be as good because it's a bit lower down the mic. So yeah, if you can tell me in the chat if the audio is brilliant, then that's great. Afternoon ads and chat, no notification. Have you pressed the bell? If you haven't pressed the bell on my channel, you know where it says subscribe and then there's a little bell, press the bell because then you should get notifications. It might not do it because YouTube, I know, is a bit funny with it. But that's how you get notifications. I never press the bell for anyone's channel. And it sounds wrong, doesn't it, pressing the bell? But I don't know. But no, I never press the bell for anyone's channel. And I seem to always get notifications. I don't know why that is, but yeah. Anyway, so I wrote this quote down here. Well, I say it's a quote. It's not really a quote. It's just something I wrote down just last night for a laugh. Infatuation makes people wonderfully clingy. I thought that was quite funny, actually. I was thinking... You know, I was thinking about, in fact, this week I've been thinking a lot about, you know, what makes people attracted to one another, and what is this concept of attraction? And I've been thinking about that, and then I wrote that quote down the other day because I thought, oh, that's interesting, actually. Like, infatuation makes people wonderfully clingy, and I like people to be clingy because I'm very clingy myself. So if you've got someone else who's clingy, it's nice, you know, you can cling to each other. But yeah, clingy is a terrible thing to do. If you shouldn't do clingy, but anyway, that's another topic all on its own. So we can wipe that, we can rub this off. As I say, I might need to use that. You know what? Let's have a try of it because I want to have a try of this. I don't know whether I'm doing this right, and I don't know how much you're meant to put on, but let's see whether this works. Yeah, it does seem to make a bit of a difference. It's maybe a little bit easier to come off, but... You know what I used yesterday, because I didn't have any of this stuff? I used deodorant. I thought to myself, hey, you know what? This is probably just deodorant, innit, without the smell. So I thought, right, all over it. And it made it so, it was like all black around here because it didn't like rub it off, it just rubbed it in. It was just creating circles of black. So I actually, yeah, I kind of had to get a antibacterial wipe and that sorted it. Antibacterial wipes are brilliant for whiteboards, however, you need to dry it afterwards before you can write on it again. So that's a bit annoying. I don't know whether I'll have to dry it with this stuff, you know, from using this stuff. Bell pushed, normally get through my phone. Get it through my phone. Yeah, sometimes I do with different channels. Not obviously my channel, but different channels. We've got, who else in there? Stephen Bennett's in there. Hi there, Stephen. I'm just trying to make sure I keep up with the chat as well, because I know I'm terrible for that. Mark Goddard says, can I go for a wee teacher ads? Yeah, I forgot, I'm not a teacher. It does seem like it though, doesn't it? I did want to be, when I was in year 6, well, probably year 6 through to about year 8, year 9, I did actually want to be a... Was it a primary school teacher or a high school teacher? I think primary school. But now I know that that wouldn't really suit me because I'd always want to, like, swear and stuff. Are you allowed to swear if you're a high school teacher, like, to the kids? Like, because I'd like to be one of those cool teachers, you know, that's like, you know, and we're just going to learn this today and we're going to... You know, like, some teachers put on, like a little bit risque videos and all the teenage boys go mad for it because the teacher's been really cool and put on some, like, you know, it's like a documentary but it's a little bit risque or whatever. Maybe it's to teach sex education or whatever. I don't know what it maybe teach, but we had a history teacher who used to put on, not necessarily risque videos, but like more like... you know, videos like with a lot of violence in and stuff, and we used to, well, I didn't, because I don't like videos with violence in, because, you know, I don't like blood and all the, I don't like that, but, all the other boys loved it, you know, they're like, yeah, this is great. So, yeah, I don't know, are teachers allowed to swear? I don't think so. I think it's one of those things that, you know, you could probably sneak in a cheeky, you know, S word or whatever every now and then, but maybe not all the time. Anyway. So, is a Thursday really a Thursday if there's no Wednesday to come before it? That's interesting. That is very interesting. If we were to look at the days of the week as a concept, as a human concept that we follow, like a calendar, routine, whatever, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if we were to remove that concept of thinking of days in terms of names, would a Thursday actually be a Thursday if there was no Wednesday before it? And of course, the answer is dependent on the person. If a person still lives by the concept, even after it's been scrapped by, you know, universal powers or whatever, then it still would be a Thursday. If the person didn't do that, if the person what was I going to say? Yeah, if the person didn't still follow the concept, then it wouldn't be a Thursday. Certainly wouldn't feel like a Thursday, you know? It would just feel like another day, which is quite interesting, you know, and that's got some philosophical thought behind it. You know, that's quite it interested me, that one, because you know, because I'm trying to look through all these concepts of life at the minute, and it's very interesting when you discover that a lot of things are no more than a concept that is being created by humanity, and there is no bearing whatsoever on, you know, actually what it is out there, the universe out there, the world out there. It's just simply a label that we've attributed something to help with ease of communication, which is a valid point to obviously make. You know, you need to be able to communicate effectively. So, you know, but that was interesting. So, is a Thursday if there's no Wednesday before it? That's pretty cool. Slow sales, Morgan says, yeah, I think the last 3 days or something, it's been very, very slow for me. It's not been particularly the best anyway. Oh, that's coming off a bit better. Now, obviously, it's dependent on the time you write it down, I think, as well. If you wrote it down about 3 days ago, it takes forever to get off. If you wrote it down a day ago, it doesn't take that long to get off. If you wrote it down 2 minutes ago, it's very easy to get off. It's amazing what you learn with these whiteboards, I tell you, you know. So, I won't use that spray. Not for that, because it came off alright. So yeah, right, so we can get on with some of the actual topics now. And also, this episode is entitled Donkeys and Holographic Carrots. I might discuss that later on, if you're lucky. Or it might be one of those things that you'll never understand why I've wrote it there, and then everyone will be thinking till the end of time, my God, I never realised why Adam was banging on about donkeys and holographic carrots. That would be more fun, actually, if I did that. But anyway, so 45 likes, transcendence of positive and negative, failure, and I'm going to tell you something about my printer. Now, this was weird. This was weird last night, right? I'm going to put this down because I'm shaking it about, and I love doing this, you know. Woo! Anyway, put it down for a minute. So, last night, I was thinking of a topic, right? And I didn't have transcendence of positive and negative yet. So, I was thinking, and we're doing transcendence of positive and negative in relation to resign. Failure. So, I didn't have a topic. And I was, this is crazy weird, right? Are you ready for this? Because I was printing off some labels, right? To stick up the labels and get them out and stuff. Obviously, the next day. And basically, oh God, this is just so weird. I was thinking to myself, oh, that's a good topic. I'll talk about failure, right? And I thought, well, what am I going to talk about failure on? And I just think, well, I don't really need to talk on it about anything, really. I can just demonstrate. I mean, a lot of the time, I'm a living failure, so it's fine, you know? I mean, there's a lot of things that I get right as well, and mainly, I end up turning my failures into positive things or into successes in the end, but a lot of the time I do fail. And then I was thinking, well, I've not got a real life example, and it's frustrating. I've not got a real life example other than just generally myself. And then what happened? Oh God, I can't even say this because this is so weird. Like literally 5 seconds or 10 seconds after I said it, it was no more than 10 seconds. The printer, like, messes up on me and doesn't print out my last page, right? And basically I'm you know, thinking, right, well, what have I got to do? Go online to the help pages on the little light that's blinking, because you need to kind of assess what the problem is. So I go onto that and I check out what the problem is. It says that the toner's ran out, and I know that the toner's not ran out because I put a fresh one in not long ago, and the other 2 pages that had come out before it on the printer were perfectly fine. Anyway, so I pull the drum out, because I've got a brother laser printer. Pull the drum out, take the toner out, put the toner back in, give it a few little zigzags back and forth on the thing to basically, like, I think it levels the toner out inside the cartridge. Put it back in, whacked the top down, gave it a button press. Nothing, you know. Obviously I turned it off and on again. I actually unplugged it for about half an hour and then put it back on again. I put new paper in, which wouldn't have been anything anyway. I checked to see if there was a jam in the tray. Nothing. I then I installed a new toner cartridge, because I thought, oh well, that might, like, re-establish it. Did that, tried that, nothing. I remembered a while ago when my printer messed up, I had to press the button 4 times after I had, like, put a new toner cartridge in. So I did that as well, nothing. And I kept, oh god, it was ridiculous. Anyway, I managed to use my mum and dad's printer downstairs, because they've got a wireless one downstairs and I've connected up to it. So I just, you know, printed it out on that one anyway. But it did make me think, you know, god damn it, I've not bloody, you know, I've not been able to fix this, and obviously it's still an issue today, but I'll try and work it out. But I thought, you know what that's just given me? It's given me a bloody, a real life example to say. What a brilliant thing, you know, like, you can't make it up, can you? I'm like, oh, you know, I don't have a real life example to show. And then I'm like, oh look, perfect, it's a real life example there now, you know, so, yeah, it was brilliant. It wasn't brilliant. I say it was brilliant. That was quite a genuine brilliant as well. I was like, yeah, it was brilliant. It was actually quite good. Obviously, it wasn't brilliant, the failure of the printer, but, you know, it was brilliant, the fact that, you know, I could obviously get a topic. So, with that being said, we'll move on from that, I think. I don't think I need to cover that too much more. But also, I just wanted to say, failure, printer. I fail all the time, and then I put down here, but that's okay. It's okay to fail. Most of the people in history who have ever succeeded in terms of, you know, growing a massive business, or, which, to be honest, isn't necessarily my definition of success anymore. Like, I just define success as I've already got success, and if I can help people along my life, you know, then that's that, you know. If I can make people happier in their life, it's why I do these shows, you know. Firstly, so I add a little bit of comedy in here, or some people might be able to determine it as comedy, or maybe it's just ramblings, I'm not sure. But I try and add a little bit of comedy in here. You know, I take negative and positive things from my own life, and I draw on them for the show to maybe help people understand that, you know, that I have problems just like you guys, and we're all kind of going through life and bumbling through life and seeing what we can do. And, you know, so I kind of define success as I've already kind of got it. So, you know, but a lot of these people who have made a success in terms of society, how society views success, you know, a lot of money, a lot of influence, a lot of power, etc. They failed tons of times throughout their life to get there. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to get there, because they had to realise from their failures how to do things properly, or not necessarily properly, but how to do things in a better way that then led them to more success ultimately. And then obviously that just snowballs from there. And especially, of course, it all comes down to mindset as well, and being in, not necessarily being in a positive frame of mind all the time. And we're actually going to go on to this and discuss it, which is transcendence of positive and negative. That's more of where I feel like, not necessarily I should be, but I am some of the time. And you shouldn't necessarily transcend positive negative all the time, because, you know, I think it's just too much. I think it's just too much, and unless you've actually experienced the transcendence of positive and negative, you won't quite understand what I'm talking about. But that's okay, because I'm sure someday you will have that experience, and then you'll think, oh, I get what he was kind of going on about. You see, a lot of the things that I go on to talk about seem eccentric or odd to people, because I'm eccentric and I've had different life experiences, and that means that a lot of the people, you know, maybe, you know, a lot of the general public or out there, whatever out there, haven't had the same experiences as me, and to them, I just look eccentric. But actually, I do have some decent things to tell you and let you know. And if you just go with it and just kind of don't worry about what I'm saying at the time, but just experience it, then you will kind of get it within time. But, you know, for one person it might take 30 years, for another person it might take 3 seconds to get what I'm talking about. But, you know, that's kind of how it has to be. It's going to be different for everyone. So, with that being said, I'll just quickly look in the chat. I have missed out a few bits, so I'm going to end up having to lean over, so I apologise, just to double check. I'm just going to very quickly. What's going on? I've just arrived. We're just literally chatting random nonsense, basically. Gary says slow, no sales. Gemma Lou says hi there. Same 2 £10 sales today. Oh, I think I'm all right. We're all right, actually. I've not missed that much in the chat. I don't know why, but there's not as many people chatting in there today. I don't know, maybe a few people are unavailable or whatever. So I'm guessing they'll probably watch it on the rewatch kind of thing. Ads, mind you, don't poke yourself in the face waving your wondabout. Oh god, no, I'm not gonna make a dirty joke out of waving my wondabout. No, I won't. It's cool. It's quite short anyway. Like if I had it really long like this, well, it's not that long, but if I had it this long, it might, you know what I mean? Yeah, but like, yeah, it's alright this length. About that length will do. Maybe a bit longer. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna do a joke actually at the start of the stream. I was gonna say, do you like how long my stick is? You know, or something like that. But I thought, no, that's just bit cringy, that one. But yeah. So that is the failure printer. So I need to rub that off. We're getting through these, aren't we? And I'm keeping up with the chat. What is this episode? It's like we're on. I don't know. We're just doing it, aren't we? We're just doing it. Right. Let me rub this off. Oh God, where's me? Oh God. Oh, there it is. This is magnetic. I should really just stick it back on there. But right, let's go over here and rub this off. Right, there we go. If anyone has any questions, whack them in the chat. And then I can just do them in between, because we're not far off the end of the topic anyway now. I'd just like to have a little discuss of a few different things that I'm into. Oh, you know what? I don't particularly like this spray because... I don't think you can see it here, but it does create a little bit of... I don't know, it's kind of dust. Kind of dust, you know. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of dust. It's like dust. Weird. Ah, that's what I was gonna do. Oh, put it on there if it'll stick. That's weird. It didn't stick a minute ago. Oh, it sticks now. Weird. Right. So hi all watching on Xbox. Oh, Jason, have you got me on a big screen TV with your Xbox? Please say yes, because I want someone to watch me on a big screen. Everyone else has been watched on a big screen, and I don't get watched on a big screen. Yeah, anyway, it'd be nice to get watched on a big screen, you know, one of them big TVs, you know, in the living room or whatever. If anyone does ever do that, send me an Instagram, you know, like, share a story or something and snap and you know, tag me in it or whatever, because that'd be really cool. Hi all, late, just back from the parcel shop. Oh, don't worry, you know, we all have things to do, don't we? It's one of those things, isn't it? We all have life to live and sales to keep up with and all the rest of it. So that is the topics, except for transcendence of positive and negative, as I mentioned. If you have any questions, as I mentioned, please do drop them in the chat. I'm just going to very quickly scroll up, just see if I've not missed anything. No, we're cool. Right, that's good. I'm keeping up with the chat fairly well, so it's okay. Mark says, use your phone again. I could do, but then, I don't know. I feel a disconnect with using my phone. Like, I like looking at it just, like, right there. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the fact that I've got so used to looking at it, like, right there. And I just like the layout of the computer version. So, it just felt really weird last week when I was scrolling through the chat on my phone. But, saying that, if it does get to a point where, you know, one week where I'm just kind of, you know, I'm kind of just trying to keep up with the chat and there's so much chat in there, then I will obviously have to use my phone or something. I'm watching on big screen in living room, do most weeks unless I'm listening. Wow, that's cool. I didn't know anyone watches me on the big screen. That's cool. So, if anyone's got any questions, as I mentioned, drop them in the chat. I am going to turn around for a minute because I'm going to write some stuff on the board. So hopefully I don't miss any, but I'll have to just scroll up maybe. Morgan just says there, I learned how to add a shipping discount to one quantity listings this week. Always thought it had to be a multi to make that work. I'm not sure. How do you add a shipping discount? Yeah, is that through the invoice? Is that through doing an invoice on eBay? I'm not sure. But I don't think I've ever done it on just one listing. Like when someone's bought a few different listings, then I would do it. You know, like they'll say to me, "Can I have combined shipping or whatever?" And then I go into the invoice, and then you can do it, can't you? From there, like you can add a discount and then send them the invoice. You just have to basically not pay for the item before they get it, and then not pay for the item once they've bought it, even not before they get it. So we basically do that, and then what happens is you can send them an invoice, and then they pay for it, you know, with that slightly reduced fee on there. But yeah, I didn't know about doing it for one item, but as I say, I've never done it. You on your lunchtime. You're on lunchtime, so normally watch while having lunch. Yes, I am. I normally have my lunch on Thursday a little bit earlier, just, you know, for the purposes of doing this chat. But no, yeah, I mean, like 12 till... A lot of people have lunch at 1 till 2, don't they? So yeah, I suppose it is kind of lunchtime still. Hold on, I'll type it out. Hold on, I'll type it out. What do you mean, type what out? No, you don't... Oh, you don't mean... Oh, you don't know... Oh, you don't mean that. I thought you were meaning something like that. I learned how to add a shipping discount to one quantity listing. So you mean in the listing page, like on an active listing? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. So I didn't know you could. I thought you could just on a listing. You just do. Jamie Summers in there. Hi there. I don't know whether that's a new face. So if it is, you know, thanks for joining. But no, I didn't know you could do that. Like, add a shipping discount on a listing that you're doing or that is supposedly live or something. That's interesting, you know, because I would have just, like, for example, if I've got a listing, I'll just put it free post, or I'll put it, you know, paid post, and then that's that. But I don't know whether you mean a listing that's currently available or what. But yeah, anyway, we'll just quickly do this because I'll get caught up otherwise. I am trying to keep my eye in the chat, and I'm doing pretty well today, so I'm going to try and keep that. So, how do we spell transcendence? I had to Google how to spell transcendence, by the way. Couldn't spell it. So, transcendence of positive and negative. What do we mean by when we transcend positive and negative? Well, let's take an example. You are feeling down one day. Down one day. And you feel like the world is ending. A lot of people have been there. Some people call it depression, some people call it temporary depression, some people call it enhanced sadness, let's say. And you feel like the world is ending. And you can't get anything done, and you're stuck, and this grey cloud comes over you, and it feels like a lot of the world is grey, and you can't do anything, right? You can't do anything. Well, not similarly, but the opposite. But some would say the same, because you can't have down without up, or you can't have up without down. Down one day, you feel like the world is ending. Similarly, you are up one day. This is a separate day, by the way. You feel like you could fly. You literally feel so euphoric that you feel like you could fly. There they are on the board there. I know my writing's very scruffy, but don't worry. I didn't get taught grammar very well in school. So you feel down one day, you feel like the world's ending, you're up one day, you feel like you could fly. And then this cycle, depending on how much you immerse yourself in positive and negative, in, you know, euphoria and depression, this cycle repeats itself continuously. You know, one day you're up, next day you're down, one day you're up, next day you're down. You might have a few days in between of just feeling fairly consistent, right? Fairly okay. You're average, right? You're good. You're okay. You're like, you're just there. You're happy enough to be there, but you're just there. You know, you're not necessarily like, you know, major happy or major sad or anything. When we're majorly happy, we want to do things like, you know, go out with our friends. We want to do things like go to the movies or whatever makes you even more happy. Because you want to get even more happy. You want to really take charge of this experience. You want to become, you want to kind of prolong this experience, and rightly so, because you're human, right? You want to feel happy for a long period of time. And then when you're down one day, you want to feel this feeling end. You want it to go. And, you know, sometimes what will happen when you're down, you'll sit on the bed, you'll maybe comfort eat, you'll, you know, I mean, you'll feel very, very bad thoughts, very, very dark thoughts indeed. You'll maybe go for a walk or something like that, because people tell you, oh, go for a walk, it'll make it better, etc. And you go for a walk and you look outside and it might be the most glorious summer's day, but you can't quite see it for what it is. There's something wrong. There's something oddly wrong about that summer's day. Like it's like you're looking at yourself in a mirror, but that's a kind of reverse mirror, and the mirror distorts your face. Just like that, you feel the summer's day is distorted somewhat. And, you know, this is quite a terrible thing on productivity. Not just the feeling down, but the feeling incredibly up. Now, that's not to say that any of these two things are wrong. That's not to say they are right, but they are just experiences of being human, emotions, etc. But what if we can transcend these two things for a time? What if we can unlock the secret of the fact that we know that after our depression has gone, the rainbows will return, the happiness will return, and after our happiness has gone, the depression or the sad times will return, and we can see that this is a cycle that goes round and round and round and round forever. Then what we can do is we can start to think when we're depressed or when we're down, we can think, hang on a minute, I was like this 3 weeks ago. I thought this was the end 3 weeks ago. But actually I'm still here. It's still the world. The world is still how it is. So actually I can get through this. I can move forward past this, and you might need a little bit of time to get through it. However, this is what I say to you: if you can unlock this ability to transcend positive and negative, you realize damn well you realize that these are just literally the flow of, you know, this life, this world, whatever. You realize that, and then what you do is you do the thing you were gonna do anyway. You pack those parcels, you list those items, you do whatever you're gonna do, and you ignore those emotions. You ignore that. And I know this sounds crazy. This sounds like the hardest thing ever, and it is very, very hard. But after a time, it doesn't become hard. It doesn't become something that is, you know, that is so, you know, you're fighting against or anything. It becomes something that you're at one with. It becomes something that you do instinctively. It becomes something that you can see through. You see through the positive and negative, and you just see that I'm going to have to do this work anyway. I'm going to have to do this thing, whatever I'm doing anyway. So I'm going to do it, you know, despite my feeling down, despite my feeling up. I'm going to just push that to the side slightly and get on and do what I'm going to do. Now, this cannot be done all the time. It cannot be done all the time. We are human. It should not be done all the time. However, if you are feeling down one day, and for example, like you know, you may be feeling down, and you feel that you're not so, you know, it's not taking you out or anything. It's not literally, you know, bringing you right down. You've got an opportunity, you've got a window of opportunity to use this to help yourself in your business, in your life, etc. If you are feeling incredibly down, then what might be better is to take a little bit of time out. Not necessarily use this transcendence of positive and negative, but actually just take a little bit of time, do what you need to do while you're feeling negative, or again, while you're feeling positive. In the case of positive, maybe the thing you feel like you need to do is go out and explore things and adventure, etc. You take that time, and then when you're just coming down off that high, or when you're just coming out of that low, but you're still not feeling quite back to this sort of central position, you then use this. You then use transcendence of positive and negative to get yourself fully back on that kind of, you know, straight wavelength, instead of doing this of up and down on a roller coaster. It's quite an interesting concept. Again, that's all it is. It's only a concept. Everything, a lot of these things that we talk about in science, in religion, whatever, in many, many different subjects, in, you know, the human realm, they are all just concepts. A lot of them can't be proven to be completely right or completely wrong. And then again, right and wrong is a concept in itself that humans have created. So you can't even prove that right and wrong is right and wrong without there being some sort of thing in relation to right and wrong that can then prove that right and wrong is right or wrong. But now we're getting into it where we're getting a bit like mind kind of effing. You know, I'm just going to put effing. You can see that. Oh, I can write it down. I can write it down because on YouTube, they can't track it when you write something down. So I'll write it down, but I'll blur out one of the letters. So now we're getting into this mind F territory. Mind F territory. You know what I mean? With the whole concept of right and wrong and stuff. But we're not going to talk about it. Don't worry. I'll save your brains. Save your brains. But yeah, so that's that. So I wanted to talk about that, and maybe it's something that could be used. It doesn't mean that you're getting rid of negativity or positivity. It's not that you're getting rid of them, because you can't actually get rid of negativity or positivity, but you can transcend them for a time, for a short period of time, and you can be, I'd like to say awakened to them, but not just that. It's more, you are awakened to them, but you understand them more fully, as well as being awakened to them, and the kind of flow of how they go, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to sort of touch on that, which is brilliant. So we've got that done as well. I don't think I'll need me spray for this one actually again, which is good. I'll rub that bit off actually there. So I'm going to look in the chat, because we've got a little, chat's been going mental for a few minutes. So I'll have a look in chat. Right then. Sorry, Ad's got to go back to work. That's no trouble. Oh no, it's not been going too bad. Account site preferences, shipping preferences, allow combined payments and shipping, flat shipping rule, then go back to business policies for shipping. Wait, I'm going to have to go up. What else did you say on that? Oh, I don't know. So, account site preferences, shipping preferences, allow combined... Oh, right. I think I know what you mean. I think. But how would you do that on one item? Yeah, I don't know. How would you do that on... Oh, do you mean... I don't know. Do you mean you're adding combined shipping as a rule over all your listings, and then if people purchase multiple one quantity items, you can it then combines the shipping automatically? Or are you meaning that... I don't know what you mean, because if someone buys one quantity item, there wouldn't be combined shipping anyway, would there? So I'm guessing you must mean when they buy multiple one quantity items, opposed to on a multi-quantity listing, or, you know, multiple of different multiple quantity listings. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's very... it's gone over my head. I haven't a clue. It's gone over my head. But yeah, whatever it is, it seems to be working. And, you know, if that's the case, then it's brilliant. So, but yeah, it's gone over my head a little bit. Ollie says, I had 3 returns and slow sales yesterday. Plus my hay fever was destroying me. I felt like crap. Today sales are flying and I feel really good. Gotta keep things in perspective, but that's life. Yeah, it's very true. It's like, and this is the thing with this, you know, transcendence is, you know, we might have this, and I've done, oh my god, I've been up highest highs, lowest lows kind of thing. And you know, when you do that for such a long time, and you're like up here one week and you're like, yeah, it's brilliant, this is great, sales are going brilliant, or everything's happening for me in my business, in life, in whatever. And then the next a week later or 2 weeks later, you've got a bad spell, you know, you've been hit with loads of returns, or you've been hit with some terrible problems in your business, and suddenly all that positive energy from 2 weeks prior has now like been scrapped in your mind, because a week or two later you've gone into this negative spiral because you've had so many problems. But it's not been scrapped, it's just how it, I mean, you can even see it, like here. I mean, obviously I'm actually doing kind of a gesture. Well, I can do it on the, I've got the bloody board. Why do I bother doing hand movements and stuff? So, you know, if we've got a positive experience here, so we'll just label that P. I know I've not really labelled that brilliant there, but, and we've got a negative experience down here, because just generally people associate negative with low and positive with high, so that's why I'm doing it. And then let's say we have another negative up here, right? And we, you know, you can do this forever and ever and ever to the end of time. And it doesn't always work out like this. Sometimes you'll have a positive, and then you'll have, if you can hear that, by the way, the phone's going off downstairs, so I apologise about that. You might have a positive and then a higher positive, because you might do, like, oh my god, this month I've done, you know, 7 grand in sales, and then the next month you've done 10 grand in sales, and the next month you've done 15 grand in sales, and there might be small negatives in there, you know, little bits of negatives, but you don't see them because it's just like this euphoric kind of thing going up and up and up, you know, kind of going parabolic on you. But yeah, basically, if we say that just a normal, simple flow, you know, is you go from positive, down here to negative, up to positive, down here to negative, up, down. You see? You see? It's going up, down, up, down, up, down. You know what's going on right through here? You're like, yeah, this is the best thing in the world. Oh no, oh God, my business is ruined. I can't do this. Why? You know, I have all these problems. Oh God! You know, and then it's like, oh my God, no, this is good, we're getting back in the game, yeah. And then it's like, oh no, that's it, lads, that's it. We'll have to, you know, remove some staff or whatever if you've got staff or whatever it may be. And then you go up again, and then you go down, and it's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's the most ridiculous concept in all of humanity, because we put it on ourselves. If we were to do this, well, no, I don't even need to rub it off. If we were to do this through all of those different things, it would have the best effect on our mentality that we could ever hope for. If we are just one kind of, you know, one kind of level in terms of our emotion through all of these negative or positive experiences, because again, what you think of as negative or positive isn't necessarily completely a terrible negative or a terrible positive, because it might be something that's actually quite mediocre. It might be something like, oh, you know, for example, my printer's gone bust on me. Oh, but somehow I'm right down here at this horrible negative. How's that come about? You see, but if I just, like I did last night, I'm like, well, you know, I'll get it sorted. It's not an issue. Then what I've done is I've gone from being sort of like here on the positive scale, and I've done this, and I've only gone down slightly in negativity. So it might not be the fact that you can ever really achieve this straight line through of no emotion or anything like that, and that's not necessarily what this straight line represents, but certainly just constricting this positive and negative cycle in a little bit more. So you just go, you know, you go like this. So you're still staying quite close to that line, that baseline of kind of feeling at one, you know, or feeling, I don't know quite how to explain it, but just feeling a nice controlled level of emotion. That's the way to explain it. And instead of you going up and down like crazy, you can start to train yourself once you understand this cycle and understand, you know, in the most part it's quite nonsense. Then you can train yourself to just go up a little bit, down a little bit, 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 right? Brilliant. How beautiful is that? Because you've now limited yourself. You're still very much an emotional human being. You've not cut out your emotion or anything like that, but you've managed to become aware of, you know, this cycle of positive and negative, and just constrict it in a little bit more and just help yourself out instead of constantly being, you know, berating yourself or constantly thinking you're the best person in the world, you know, and it's just this, it becomes this much more tolerable, you know, tolerable existence rather than, you know, so it's brilliant, really, it's absolutely brilliant concept, but as I say, and I keep reminding everyone, it is a concept, it is nothing more than that. I see what you mean now, Morgan. I'm not sure whether I do. Oh, right, okay. Oh, yes, ads. Oh, right, okay. So I was kind of right, I think. I don't know. Well, yeah, it seems like it'll work pretty well for you. So what happens if the buyer buys 2 items that can't be sent together, though? Is there a way around that? Yeah, you see, that's what I always have. You know, like if a buyer buys is to buy a couple of items or 3 items or whatever, I always say to them, let's say they ask for combined shipping, I always say to them, well, unfortunately, due to the nature of the items, the size of the items, whatever, I'm gonna have to send these separately anyway. So I'd end up ending up basically making myself out of pocket if I were to offer you combined shipping. Or I say it a bit more professionally than that, but that's essentially the gist of what I say. So yeah, you know, I suppose there is that side of it, but there might be some way of getting around that. I don't know. There might be something around that. Oh, Peter's just saying bye. He says got to go. See you all. No worries, Peter. Just going up the chat very quickly. Oh no, we're okay. So, oh, who said hi? Oh, Alan says. Did Alan say hi? No, I don't know. Oh, Curbsty. I can't even say that. Curbsty. I can't. Curbsty. Curbsties. I don't know. I can't say that. Sorry. I apologise. I can't say your name or your username at least. Adrian's in the chat. Hi there, Adrian. I don't think there's anything else. Really, don't think there's any questions. No, doesn't look like there's any questions. If you have any questions, then I will stick around for, what, another 10, 15 minutes have we got? Something like that. But yeah, with that being said, I think we'll leave the whole topic thing there. Does anyone want to know about donkeys and holographic carrots? Because I can tell you that if you want. Because that's interesting. Well, I thought it was quite interesting. Do-do-do. I do like this whiteboard. I don't know what it is, but feels very me. Does it not feel very me, this whiteboard? I like the whiteboard, I have to say. Right, so shall we do holographic carrots then? Right, let me get my phone out. I need my phone for this. I've got the quote on me. See all this? Oh, I'll show you all this. Oh, God. Now, this is only half of my quotes that I make up, right? Can you see that there? Well, you won't be able to see it. Well, I kind of wanted you to see it properly, but no, you won't be able to see it anyway. Oh, no, there we go. Right. Oh, I can't even see it. You can't even see it really very well. Basically, a crap ton of quotes. Like, I think there's over 100 on here, or maybe about 100, and then I've got another 100 and odd on my computer. I literally make up like 4 a day now, just like 4 quotes a day. It'd be good if I could get to like 1,000 quotes, you know, in like by the time like 27 or something. Then I could whittle through them and then take out the ones that are crap, because some of them are crap. And then what I can do is structure a book, you know, do like a book, but I know it's quite hard to get published and stuff. Like, what could I title it? Ads, quotes, no, quotes from the mind of an eccentric. Yeah, something like quotes from the mind of an eccentric. That'd work, wouldn't it? That looks pretty good. And then I could have me on the front, you know, wearing like one of me, like my purple hat or something. This is going to be a terrible drawing, sorry. You know, me in the little purple hat. Wee, 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 wee. Me in my little purple hat. You know, it has its little striped thing round here. Its little leopard print stripe round there. Quotes from the mind of an eccentric. Yeah, that'd do, wouldn't it? Yeah, that's how you spell eccentric. It just doesn't look very good on the screen there. So yeah, we'll do holographic carrots, as I was mentioning. I got sidetracked then. I have made it the title of this video, so I can't really not do it, can I? Quotes from the mind of an eccentric with ads. Just updated my spreadsheet, nearly a couple more sales to get me 1,000 profit for February. Nice. And February is a short month, innit? So I think I've done pretty well for I mean, I wouldn't say like brilliant, but it's okay because I've not spent as much this month, and because I'm on cash basis, when you don't spend as much on stock, it really like positively impacts your profit. So I think I've done okay for Feb, but Feb's never normally, you know, it's never normally a brilliant month. I think March has been sometimes quite good for me. Right, so I'll just tell you this quote. So, where is it? Oh, it's up here a bit. A donkey, right, so I'll just read this out. I won't write this down because I've got something else to write down. A donkey chasing a holographic carrot in front of its face in which it can never consume is sometimes how I feel about my own pursuit of happiness. So, bit of a mixed emotion quote, that one. Maybe even a little bit of a more down, more down quote. And I thought to myself, why is it that I feel, my pursuit of happiness, why is it that my pursuit of happiness is like a donkey chasing a holographic carrot that someone's put over its face, like on one of them little strings? And of course, it's a holographic carrot, so even if the donkey got to it, it couldn't bloody consume it, could it? So why do I feel like my pursuit of happiness is the same as donkeys and holographic carrots? Well, it made me determine something that I created, and this goes into psychology, I created a false identity, or, a false ego, or a false character. Yeah, we'll go with character. So I created a false ego, false identity, a false character way before I had this YouTube channel. This goes back to when I was about 14, 15, when I first got called ads. And that made me, I think it probably was a little bit before that, because it was, you see, when you create a false ego inside your own mind, or a false character, it has to be something that you do gradually over time, because it can't be something that your conscious mind is aware of, because that ego has to kind of sit in the back of your subconscious alongside your other ego in the sense of your kind of base ego, let's say. So I wouldn't like to necessarily call it an ego, because I don't necessarily know whether you could have more than one ego. I'm sure it's possible, but I would much rather prefer to call it a character or an identity. So we'll go off that more. Oh, there's a shake of the house or something then. I don't know why that was. So yeah, we'll rub off ego, because I don't think it was necessarily an ego, but it was certainly a false identity. And this false identity, or this character, was based solely on what other people thought of me, right? So everything this character did was, of course it was me, because I didn't know until now, where I've managed to dig this out of my subconscious, in the form of psychotherapy and stuff like that. And not necessarily anyone else's psychotherapy. I tried to do psychotherapy on myself using spirituality and all the rest of it. But basically, if we've got this character, right, I've created this false identity in which I've lived out of for years and years and years, that I didn't even know I was necessarily living out of. I was just kind of in that mode. So if, let's say, I've got this false identity, and I say to myself, right, what brilliant thing about this false identity, this is a good one. I want to walk the world. Yes. I don't want to walk the world. I being the false character, he wants to walk the world. I don't want to walk the world, as in the base person I am. This false character, I want to walk the world. I say that, or I said that, in terms of through this necessarily character or whatever that I've portrayed. I said that because wouldn't it be brilliant? Wouldn't it be brilliant how much I would get, how much support and how much praise I would get for walking 36,000 kilometers Around the world. Just like, what's that guy who's done it from Britain? Or he's in the middle of doing it now. Forgot his name. But I think it's Carl someone. Might be Carl someone. But wouldn't it be brilliant if I walked 36,000 kilometres and I, you know, all that praise I would get and all this brilliance. Now, what does this do? What have we got right here going on? We've got a fundamental problem here. Why do I feel like my pursuit of happiness is like donkeys and holographic carrots? I feel that way because I've inflated a character or ego to standards that no human or very few humans could possibly attain. Therefore, in the light of this false character, I've made it so that then I feel I can't be happy, or it's going to be very, very hard for me to be happy. So, thing is now, how do we define this? How do we get rid of this character? It's impossible to get rid of that character necessarily because it's now an intrinsic part of who I am, or it is certainly a side to myself. I would entitle it more the dark side of myself or something like that. But when you recognize a character, you can then identify it. I'm going to put it up here. You can identify when it springs up. And if you can identify when it springs up, you can identify which version of you is saying it, and you can think, right, well, I know by looking at you, my false identity, I know who I am. I know what I want, because you want something completely different to me, and that shows me who I am. So there we go. That is pretty interesting. Very, very interesting. Donkeys and holographic carrots. And I do not need to be a donkey chasing a holographic carrot anymore, because I am enlightened or aware of the fact, or awakened to the fact, that this other character that I created when I was a lot younger, and that's been kind of inside, inside me for so long, I am now aware that exists, and obviously now I can move on from that, and I don't need to necessarily please anyone. I don't necessarily need to do anything that I don't want to, and I can just go my own way with it. So very, very interesting. And again, I would like to point out that this is a concept just the same as anything, really, but it's interesting nonetheless to have that ideology or have that thinking and dig down deep inside yourself to reveal different things about yourself. So yeah, it does. Pack in, done, brew, and chill. Then some listing. That's Jason, by the way. I need to do some listing actually as well after this show. But yeah, so it is very, very interesting, that idea, and that thought came to me on Tuesday, as I mentioned, or Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and it really got me thinking. Why do I feel that happiness is unattainable for me? And it's the fact that my desire to do things was a false desire, or was encapsulated within a false identity, that then led me to believe my own identity and my own wants, desires and needs, which are actually relatively simple and relatively, sort of free of want or desire. More like I'd like to fall in love, or I'd like to, I like to eat food, or, you know what I mean? Those kind of more basic things, the need for shelter, the need for maybe the need for a relationship, or not necessarily the need for a relationship, but the want for a relationship in the future, obviously food, family, etc., those types of things. Money doesn't really come into it as long as I have enough to go about life, to do life. So it's very, very interesting about actually going down deep inside yourself. Now, this will be maybe overly exaggerated for myself based on my past experiences, because this character didn't just spring up, out of nowhere. There was a lot of unconventional circumstances when I was younger, a lot of differences in myself that led me to create such a character, to get away from myself, kind of, or almost to get away from the pain or the like the repression. The repression, that's the word. To get away from the repression. So this will not mean anything to a lot of people because they won't need to do this. They will already have themselves there. But for me, it needed to happen that I was to be aware of this and to look into this, to feel more contented with the base personality of who I am. And you know, I'm glad I've finally done it. I'm glad I've kind of worked that out, or I feel I've worked it out, and I don't necessarily need answers anymore to anything like that anyway. So it's just nice to kind of do that. But anyway, I will just have a quick look through the chat and then I will get going. But I hope you enjoyed today's episode, guys. I very much enjoyed using the whiteboard. It's been very, very good. Don't forget, 45 likes on this video. If you are watching after the live stream, please do give it a good old like. Smash that like button and get me to 45 likes. And obviously, if we could get to about 20 likes by the end of the live stream, that would be brilliant. I'm not going to check, though, because I have to whip my phone out and all the rest of it. And I just can't be bothered, to be honest. But, you know, so hopefully we will get to 20 likes by the end of the live stream. But, yeah, hopefully 45 likes by this time next week. That would be brilliant. So, let me have just a quick look in the chat. One issue is potential negative feedback. I've not had any yet, but I know it's just a matter of time. Don't worry too much about negative feedback. If you do everything right, if you've got, you know, if you're doing everything right on eBay, if you're, you know, playing by the rules, then you're not going to get negative feedback. I actually had a negative feedback recently from someone. Basically, I sent the wrong item out to that person. I sent the wrong item to a different buyer, or this buyer's item to a different buyer, and that buyer didn't have everything, have anything. And basically, I was back and forth in the messages, and I said, you know, the fact that I apologise, I've sorted it out with this other buyer, he's going to send it me back, and then I'll send it to you, and all the rest of it. I was very polite about it, all that sort of stuff. And then, before I even knew it, in the midst of me sorting all this out, they just left me a negative feedback straight away. I then got the item back, I sent it out to them. I said, would you be willing for me to send you a feedback revision request, because they had said that, you know, as long as we get it sorted, you know, hopefully I'll be happy, all the rest of it. And I was thinking, well, I can probably get a revision request then from them and, you know, get the feedback removed. Anyway, so I sent them a revision request and they said they'd do it. And then they never did it. The revision request expired a few days ago, and now they've just messaged me to say, after the tracking had stated they received the item about a week or two ago, they've now just messaged me without a message back, without a response to any of my messages, previous messages. They messaged me back like 1 week, 2 weeks later to say, this isn't the item that was described, even though I know full well it was. I packed that item twice, obviously. Once to send it out originally, and then once when I got it back, because I always, you know, opened up the item, checked it was the item. So I know that full well that was the right item, but it's just one of those buyers. You are going to get one of those buyers every now and then, and you will get a negative feedback. There is the possibility of me ringing up eBay and letting them go through them. I mean, I actually did ring up eBay, actually, before I sent a revision request to them, but then eBay just told me that just to send a revision request. But I could ring up eBay now after this event's happened and say, look, you know, is there anything you could do? Could you remove the feedback, or could you look at the messages we had together? Because from that you'll see that they were willing to remove the feedback, but for whatever reason they haven't done. So it was just a very, very annoying circumstance. And you are going to get those circumstances. You know, you are going to get buyers that are just going to be, they're not tolerant to any problems. Like, for example, that was my problem, and therefore I kind of do deserve a negative feedback for that. However, I would have liked that buyer to at least give me the chance to sort it out before they leave a negative, and then obviously when I had sorted it out, they got had the cheek to come back to me and say, this isn't as advertised, you know. And actually, I didn't even mention anything, but I gave them a refund on that order before they got their cut, because it had taken so long for the other buyer to, it'd taken like, I don't know, 5 or 6 days or something for the other buyer to get down to the post office to send it back to me, and then obviously it took me another day or so to send it out. So I had given them a refund, I'd given them a full refund, I had then sent the item out anyway as like a gesture of good faith, and they still had the cheek to come back to me and say, this is not the item as advertised, even though they'd got a full refund and they'd got the item that was advertised. So yeah, I mean, as I say, in something like that, you kind of do deserve a negative feedback, but I would have liked it where they gave me a bit more time to sort this problem out, and then maybe just have given me a neutral or something, because I did sort it out. But now, obviously, that buyer's just gone on my block list. I'm not dealing with them. You know, I did everything right as a seller. I've not got any qualms with that. Obviously, even giving the refund wasn't necessarily even needed because they ended up getting the item in the end anyway. But I felt, as I say, as a gesture of good faith, because it was taking a while to get things organised, I would give them a refund as well. So I did more than my fair share as a seller, and you're just going to get that. And it is annoying. It is very annoying. But I won't ramble any more of that, because I could ramble for so long on negative feedback and stuff. But it's not so bad. I always think, like, as long as you... Certainly you need to be... I like to say you need to be above 99%, not 95%, 99%. But really, ideally, you want to be above that 99.5 or 99.6, 99.7% on your feedback score, because, you know, if you're about that, then buyers aren't going to moan. You know, if you've got 99.5, 99.7, 99.9 or 100%, buyers aren't going to moan, buyers aren't going to necessarily take that into consideration in a negative light or anything when they're choosing to purchase from you. So just make sure you try and do what you can, do what eBay says to do, you know, in terms of how you're packaging your items, all the rest of it, how, not necessarily how eBay says to do it, but how we all say to do it on here, you know, pack your items well, under promise, over deliver, or is it under promise, yeah, under promise, over deliver it, that's the right way around. So yeah, just do all that and you should be okay, but you are gonna get negative feedback every now and then, and it's a bit annoying. That's all it is, it's a bit annoying. But I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. As I mentioned, give it a like down below. If you haven't already, then please do subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. So I will see you very soon, guys. See you in the next one.